All right. So, welcome to my Saturday class today for all the regulars, as well as we're welcoming New York Flute Club members today coming back for another session so we can get this recorded for you and the New York Flute Club website. Okay, so go ahead and lie down on your back on the mat, get comfortable. And if you're not completely comfortable being flat on your back, always remember that if your back is more comfortable with the knees bent, you can choose to do that. You can also even keep the feet a little wider and turn the knees in. Some people prefer that for comfort, or a rolled up pillow or blanket under the knees to act as a bolster where the knees are just bent a little bit. So, all of that is available to you in any yoga class that you ever take. And we'll start out with nice slow breathing through the nose. So, we're inhaling through the nose, letting the belly and the chest and the upper lungs expand. And as we exhale, we're letting it go through the belly and the chest and the upper lungs. And no matter how you breathe, the main importance here is to remember to breathe. Don't ever hold your breath. And to remember that there's lots of different ways to breathe. You know, if you're playing the flute or a wind instrument, that's one way of breathing. If you're running, that's another way. If you're doing yoga, we breathe this way. If you do Pilates, it's a different way. None are right and wrong. They're all useful. So this is the yoga breathing, the belly breathing, as it might be called, through the nose, is a very relaxing way to breathe. And it brings in a lot of oxygen for the body to relax the nervous system. And as we're breathing in this way on each and every inhalation that you take, try to bring into your body and your life all the positive aspects of health and relaxation, calmness and healing, energy and focus for our daily activities, and all the things we love to do. And as we're exhaling, let's exhale away anything and everything we need to get rid of. So, any worries, projects, or to do lists, exhale away any tensions whatsoever. And exhaling away any remnants of illness or of injury that you may have had. And then taking a moment to scan your body with your mind's eye, using your imagination, just look around and find those places that you think might need the most tender, loving care today. And take one hand or both hands to those spots. So if it's a joint or a muscle, you could squeeze it, you could massage it a little bit. If it's an inner organ, or let's say eye strain or a headache, you could just take those palms to those areas. Breathe into them. Let good, healthy, healing feelings come through your hands into your body. And we're all remembering to honor our bodies in whatever ways they need today and every day. So let's stretch the arms out like a big T and bring the knees towards your chest and just roll around a little bit on that low back, massaging left and right at first, and then into some circles, down into your tailbone, up into the waistband, up and down your hips. Do a few one direction and a few the other direction. We're just bringing circulation and warmth to that low back. And coming back to center, we'll send the hands and the feet up towards the sky. If you can't straighten your knees the whole way, that's okay. You can leave them bent and just flex and point through the hands and the feet, the ankles and the wrists, like you're waving, getting circulation there. And then scrunch the toes and fingers like fists and wiggle them. Do that a few times too. Scrunching and wiggling. So these types of hand movements are so great if you're a musician, but also if you're on the computer a lot. And then circle around wrists and ankles or anything that you happen to do with your hands. You want to keep those hands, wrists, fingers, and forearms nice and healthy, strong, but also flexible. Good. And then shake it all out. Shake your hands, shake your feet. Kick your bum if you can, if you have that flexibility to your knees. And then wiggle like a puppy, scratching their back. My favorite. I know we have dog lovers here. There you go. And then we'll open up those arms again. Palms are up, and then the knees are going to flop to the right for spinal twist. So try to roll all the way onto your right hip so that the two hips are stacked one on top of the other. And you can take your right hand to that left knee, press those knees down a little bit, and stretch that left arm out the other way. So this is a wonderful stretch for that upper body, the armpit, the chest, your shoulder, the whole entire arm. And then we're going to leave the hand on the floor while we rotate that whole arm in place. So it's like you're twisting like a washcloth from inside or turning the handle of a doorknob back and forth. Good. A few times, getting that shoulder to move. Good. And then leave the palm up, and we're going to slide the hand down towards our hip and up past the head. If that's too much for your shoulder, just bend at the elbow and let the elbow lead the circles, and they're just a little smaller. So either way, straight arm, semicircles, or bent elbow semicircles. Kind of like snow angels, a half of a snow angel. Very, very nice. Good. Let's roll the knees back to center, go the other way, knees to the left, head to the right. Now your left hand can come to your right knee, pressing those knees down a little bit. Turn your head to the right and stretch that right arm. Most times I suggest having palms up. This rotates the shoulders so that your chest is more open, which we could all use more of. So many modern day activities have the shoulders rounded forward, so we want to try to balance that out. And then take that right arm and rotate it in place again, squeezing like a washcloth, open, closing a doorknob. The arm is straight, the hand is on the floor, and you're really moving from the shoulder mostly, just letting the rest of the arm rotate. And then you can leave the palm up and then slide that arm up and down, snow angels, or with the elbow bent if that's too much range of motion for your shoulder. My philosophy is challenge yourself, but don't strain yourself, right? We're trying to do no harm at the same time, challenging the body. Good. And then we can roll back to center. And let's stretch the legs down to the mat, at least temporarily. Take the arms overhead, interlace your fingers if you can, and stretch. If you can't get the hands together and on the floor behind you, then think of opening them up to a V, or even bending at the elbows for what I call cactus arms. For us in Southern California, we know that what that means, like the Joshua tree cactus, just little bent elbows, right? And then take a stretch from wherever you're at, arms go back, legs go down, big inhale there, and an exhale as those arms float down to your sides, and then just wobble the legs a little bit, in and out, in and out. Wobble your head slowly side to side. So you're not lifting it off the ground at all. It's just rolling to the left, rolling to the right. And as you do this, try to relax in the jaw, the mouth, the tongue even. Let your neck relax, the shoulders, all the way down to the arms and fingers. And then come on back to center. We'll slide the feet up, so feet are flat, knees are bent, and also wobble across the low back a little bit. This is not a twist, it's just shifting weight. It's just relaxation mode. Yeah, good. And then we're gonna stay right here, have the palms up and arms to your sides, and just take a moment enjoying having your back supported by the floor, the arms supported by the floor. You don't have to use any effort here whatsoever. Just let everything sink in a little bit. Breathe and remember this feeling so that when you are upright or sitting, you can try to imitate this nice elongated spine that's relaxed and feeling very open and free. So we're going to do just a very brief visualization with movement that's helpful for flute players, but that's how I devised it. But if you play any instrument, including the computer, this should be helpful to as a relaxation method for your hands, okay? So let the hands be palms open to the ceiling. And if you really relax the hands, you're going to notice that they end up in a kind of cupped position, right? They're not flat, stretched out. They're not like a fist. There's no tension. They're just a kind of cupped feeling. And one thing you can do to help that cupped position is just imagine you're holding a small but weighted ball or rock or something, and you just can lift it, but you don't need any effort. The fingers are just cupped around it. Yeah. So just let that be for a moment. Then you're going to disappear that ball or rock. If you had it in your mind, let's get rid of it for the moment. And just bend your elbows and bring the hands up. You're still very cupped. The wrists are relaxed. The fingers are relaxed. Lift the arms up towards the ceiling a little bit. Try to still have the fingers cupped. Super duper relaxed. If the wrists start to open a little, that's fine too. And then for any flute players here, or I know we have one oboe player, or any other instrument, including keyboard on the computer, place your arms in the position that you would to do that music or keyboard work. Just pantomime doing what you do. But keep this feeling of relaxation in the hands and fingers and that kind of cuppedness in the fingers. Very relaxed. See if you can kind of hold on to that relaxation while pantomiming the movement that you're working on, where you need that relaxation in the fingers, the hands and wrists. Now, of course, we need a little strength when we do these activities too. We can't just be all limp wrists and floppy. So just the tiniest bit of effort into holding the instrument, holding the arms at the computer, whatever it is you're working on, just the tiniest bit, like a 0.5 out of 10 on a scale of 0 to 10, just a tiny bit. Notice, is your head still relaxed? Your jaw, your neck, and shoulders. If there's any tension, return the arms to the floor. Try to get that relaxation back. Cup the fingers, lift the arms, and do the same thing again. That's great. And then we're just going to release the arms. And of course, you could do this on your own many times in a row or right before you're about to sit down to practice or sit down at the computer anytime throughout the day. Good. So we're going to roll on over to our side. Carefully, gently lift yourself up to sitting today. And we'll do a little bit of our cat-cow from a seated position. So if when you sit, your knees are up high, then I would say let your hands just dangle, let your arms be to your sides. And if your knees are more flat to the ground, then the hands could be on the knees or the lap somewhere, okay? Simple reason is if your knees are here, your hands are here, then the shoulders go up, and we don't want that. So just let them relax. And we're going to inhale to arch the spine, looking up. So you want to keep your head, your chest, and your spine all in one piece. Don't let the head go back too much farther than your back can. And then on your exhale, round forward a little bit. Let the head drop, chin to chest. So it's a simple inhale, arching, and an exhale, rounding. Letting the arms relax, keeping the jaw soft, the shoulders relaxing too. And then the next time you're upright, let's do a few to the side. So you'll just take your left hand to the floor, leave both sit bones, hips into the ground, take the right arm up, and go sideways bending. Inhale back up to center and go the other way. Exhale, sideways bending. And the key here is to keep your head and neck aligned with the rest of your spine, chest, right? So you don't want any one part of your spine to do too much more bending or leaning or odd angles, right? You just want to make this nice soft curve in both directions, also letting that bottom shoulder really relax. Exactly. Good. And we can even do big circles here from a seated position. By the way, the seated cat-cow series you can do from a chair too. So if you're at your desk practicing or working at the computer, take a break and do these cat-cows. So we can go to the side first, then sort of reach with that top hand diagonally. Slide both hands to the front, diagonally the other way, and send that arm back up. So do a few of those one direction. Again, very loose. Let the head drop. Let the arms swing around. Open it up once you're upright again. And of course, breathing the whole time. Next time you're up top, you can go the other direction a few times. Let those shoulders go. Let the head and the neck go. Keep breathing. You could close your eyes if you want. Couple more here. And maybe one more time. Very good. All the way back on up. Excellent. Take a moment to sit here. Just relax the shoulders down. Have an open chest. Think about where your head is. So you can always check to see this place below your chin, that it's parallel to the floor. Some people have postures that head is forward or rolled or too high up. So we always want to check that our head is still in line with our spine. Yeah, good. So let's try some things on hands and knees. So if you're someone who works with your hands quite a lot, You want to really be careful when you do poses on hands and knees. It can be a lot of pressure for the wrists and the fingers and the hands. So if this position is not terribly comfortable for you, flat hand with this 90-degree angle here, I suggest going to fists. So I'm on my knuckles and the hands are palms towards each other, knuckles and here. Another way to do this is if you happen to have some small dumbbells. The dumbbells are on the floor, but there's space for your fingers underneath. And then it's a much more comfortable straight line for your wrist. So either with the dumbbells or just on the knuckles. And we're going to inhale to arch the spine and exhale to round the spine. So we don't have to do the whole series here. We just did them all from sitting, but just take a few of the original traditional cat cow. We're always trying to balance whatever's unbalanced in the body. So if you find there's a part of your spine that's loose and a part that's tight, you want to try to focus on that tight part and balance it with that looser part. Very good. Excellent. And let's lower down into child's pose, hips toward your heels, fold the arms underneath your body, let your head drop, and just move the hands around to stretch them a little bit. Take some breaths. If it's hard to bend your knees, you can always lift the hips, that's no problem. Or if you're in a seated pose, you can hug your knees to your chest for another version of child's pose. And we're going to lift back up to hands and knees for one other pose here. So fists if it helps. And this is spinal balance. So it gives a lot of strength for the core muscles, which is always good to help out the upper body. So we're going to lift the right arm out in front of our heads. Leave your head on straight, looking straight down to the floor, and lift the left leg behind. So inhale to lift, exhale to lower. Alternate the pairs. You can have your toes curled under or your toes flat and pointed. Either way is fine. And I usually include a couple of variations here. One I call helicopter, where you can bring the arm and the leg out to either side just a little bit, keeping your hips even, and the other. If this is challenging for you, I suggest resting in between, or you could do just the arms or just the legs, not both. We have another variation where we lift the toes off the ground. This really creates a lot more challenge to balance, and that's something to work towards. Next time your left arm is up off the floor, we're finished balancing both sides. Come back to your child's pose, fold those arms under again, let the head rest. Good. So we're just going to do one down dog today, and I'll explain this for the newcomers. Just stretch your arms way far forward. Have your fingers kind of wide, and the goal here with the hands is to keep the wrists as straight as possible. So when you lift up, if you find that those wrists are too bent, just work on pressing a little farther in order to straighten out those wrists, okay? So we're going to come on up, lift your body up, curl the toes under, lift the knees, lift your hips up towards the ceiling. And then from there, make sure that your back is a little bit arched. The tailbone is lifting up towards the ceiling. We're going to bend one knee just a tiny bit and let the other heel press towards the ground without moving the hips. And then take a look at those wrists and press your chest towards your thighs. Let your head drop through those arms. You'll probably feel a little bit of pressure in the heels of your hands, but if you get down dog where you want it, it's a wonderful feeling through your spine. You're kind of upside down and weightless, stretching that spine, opening up all those vertebrae. Very good. Um, those of you who are regulars in my class, if you feel like coming through the series, plank and cobra and all of that, feel free. Otherwise, we're just going to come down, lower the knees, come down to your child's pose, bring those arms underneath you, and again, stretch through the hands and wrists and fingers. Let your head drop. Relax the jaw, relax the neck. Let it all go with a couple more breaths. Good. And then slowly keep your head down. Hands are going to go under your shoulders. Roll yourself up. Head's going to be last to come on up. And let's sit on up in another cross-legged position. So if cross-legged on the floor is not terribly comfortable for you, there's a few things you can do. The point is we want to keep the torso nice and straight up, um, working towards a good posture that's straight, but not, you know, too military straight. You want to be relaxed in your posture, but still open. Yeah. And part of this has to do with the low back and the hip position. So if you find yourself with knees up and rounding back in a slouch, you might want to take small towel or a blanket, make a little pad an inch or two thick, and sit on just the edge of it. And what this will do is rotate your hips slightly forward, and it makes it a lot more comfortable to sit on the floor. Even if your hips are tight and your knees are up here, this will still make it easier to sit in this position. Yeah. What you want to try to cultivate in your spine is that little bit of an arch in your low back. Yeah. And that head just perfectly perched on top of the spine. Chest is open, shoulders are relaxed and down. And from there, then we can have really relaxed arms, hands, wrists, and fingers. And that's our goal. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to do a few hand stretches. So the first one I'd like to show you is really, really simple. You should all be accustomed to this these days. We're going to just pantomime washing our hands. So you're just going to suds them up, right? And just massage your hands like they were under nice warm water, which is a nice thing to do anyway. We should all be washing our hands a lot anyway. But this kind of friction movement, fingers interlaced, massaging that webbed part of your thumb, and then bring it up into the wrist and maybe the forearms too. Of course, you could go all the way, but we're just going to do this much. Up to the elbow is good. That's the first one. Nice warm, nice self massage, self care. Shake them out a little afterwards. Should already be feeling nice. Then to balance out the unbalances, this is a good one. Let your hand just come out. The fingers are dangling. Take your other hand to those fingers. Pull the fingers into the underside of that forearm. So we're stretching that forearm and doing the opposite of so many things that have our wrists bent, right? So, as musicians, sometimes the wrists are bent. As uh, people on computers a lot, we have wrist issues. This is good for everybody, really. Good. Try the other hand. Same thing. You sort of grab those fingers. It's a gentle pull. There should be some sensation of a stretch, but obviously don't go too far. Go easy with it. Very nice. And each one of these stretches maybe hold for a few breaths or 20 seconds or so. Good. Shake them out. All right, those are the easy ones. Now we get to a couple of more complicated ones. So just try to follow along. So have your right hand palm facing your face like a mirror. Yeah. Take your left hand behind your right hand. It's also palm facing you, but it's behind. And now you'll find that the pinky finger of your left hand is close to your thumb of the right, and the opposite is true with the thumb of your left hand close to the pinky of your right hand. You're going to grab that hand with the back hand and then twist it. You're going to twist it towards the right. This will twist the wrist and the whole forearm. You could even see in my arm that twist happening. And I like to kind of push with my thumb against that pinky knuckle part, get a little bit more and pull with these fingers around the thumb. Go easy. This is a deep stretch, but it's a really great thing to do for your hand, your wrist, your forearm. From there, if you want to move the arm around a little bit to get little other positions of that twist, it's good. This is a very well-known stretch in physical therapy circles, and it actually is used in Aikido, the peaceful martial art from Japan. Yes, good. Then let that one go. You might feel it for a few moments, shake it out. Your hands will thank you for this. And then the other hand too. So left palm up, looking at yourself like a mirror. Take the right hand behind it, thumb to pinky, pinky to thumb. Grab that hand and twist it now towards the left, like your pinky's going left. It's hard to kind of describe clockwise or counterclockwise, but I think you're getting it. And also move that arm around a little bit. Don't go too far, too deep, but you do want to feel it. Very nice. Let that one go. Shake them out. Good. And then the last one in this little hand stretch sequence, this time you put your palm facing away. The other hand will do right hand facing away, left hand behind it. So it's similar to the first one. Thumb to pinky, pinky to thumb. This time you're grabbing the fingers and then bending at the wrist and the elbow to bring this wrist where you would wear a watch closer in towards your chest. This right hand ends up being sort of claw-like, yeah? This hand is twisting and pulling that wrist in towards your chest, and a few little circles there. Very good. Release it, shake it out if you need. And the other hand, left hand, like you're saying, talk to the hand, other hand up, thumb to pinky, pinky to thumb. Grab those fingers, bend at the elbow and the wrist, and bring it in towards your chest. There's our little claw. Squeeze it and move it around a little bit. Very nice. Shake them out once again. Excellent. Moving up the chain to the shoulders, let's bring the arms out, palms down. Try to have the arms shoulder height the whole time. As you bring those arms behind you, opening the chest, kind of squeezing the shoulder blades together. Couple of breaths here. And then just go ahead and relax the arms down. If you feel like you need to stretch in between, just go ahead, loosey-goosey. Good. And then we'll take the palms up, same thing, little different angle positioning for those shoulders. Open the chest, stretch it out. Try to avoid the tendency to lift the head here. Just keep the head on straight. That's it. Focusing on that upper back, chest area, and let it go. Very good. Last position here. Rotate the arms, palms down, and then palms to the back of the room behind you. Bring those arms back. Hold and breathe. It's kind of an odd position, I know, but your shoulders will thank you. And then start to release by bending the elbows and take the fingers and hands behind you. Interlace those fingers together and then start to straighten the elbows behind. Open the chest, keep your head on straight. Hold and breathe. Try to bring those hands back and down. If you want a little extra here, forward fold. Stretch those shoulders out, let the head drop, or even a modified approach, just chin to chest. Very nice. And then lift back up, release those hands, and let them go. Very good. And finally, in this shoulder sequence, we have eagle arms. So the arms will be out, palms down. Bring the right arm over the left as you cross them. Then bend the elbows. Take the hands together. If you can, get the palms together. If not, the backs of the hands are fine. And then it's a nice, tight, snug fit. Lift the elbows. Push the forearms towards each other. Drop your head, chin to chest. And then left ear goes to the left shoulder. The key here is to keep the elbows high and to keep pressing the arms together. This is a really wonderful stretch for the side of the neck, the shoulder, even the upper back. You'll feel it. Couple more breaths here. And then first lift the head up, release the arms, bring them out, let them rest a bit, and then we'll take the other side. So the arms are up, palms down, left arm over right, bend at the elbows, hands come together however you can. Get that nice snug fit with the elbows. Lift them up, press the forearms towards each other, drop the head, and then right ear goes to right shoulder, stretching the left side of the neck, upper back, shoulder. Couple of breaths here. Very good. Lift the head first, release the arms, shake it out. And you may need a little shoulder relaxation after all of that. So let's just do what I call the half circles because we're not going to round the shoulders forward. We're just going to lift them up, squeeze them, bring them back, and then down, up, back, and down. So it's a half circle. Let the arms dangle, the hands dangle. Try to keep the head on straight. And then you'll go the opposite way. Push the shoulders down, bring them back, and then lift them up, but not forward. We do too much forward shoulders in our everyday lives, driving, computer, reading, whatever. So we want to try to bring those shoulders back. Very good. See if you can do one at a time, alternating. And you can let the head and neck get into it here. Nice little dance move. And then change directions. Don't think about it too much, just go the opposite way. Exactly. And come back to center, shake it all out. One last thing about the neck to talk about, neck and also general posture. So we have some people here from the flute club, we have others that play other instruments, we have others who aren't musicians but spend a lot of time on computer. So for the moment, think about what your posture is like when you do the thing that I just mentioned. It might be at the computer that your head is forward, right? It might be you're a flute player and, we're very asymmetrical when we play the flute. So whatever it is, think about that position. And what I want you to do is to do the very, very opposite of what you usually do. Yeah. So if your head is usually tilted to the right, I want you to stretch it to the left and go the opposite way. So everyone here is going to be doing a different thing for themselves, right? You have to imagine what it is that you do in your everyday life that is an unbalanced movement that you'd like to try to remedy by balancing it out in the other position. If you find that you're twisted in one way or the other, some people when they drive, they're constantly looking at the passenger, and that can be tricky. Well, then spend some time twisting the other way. And by the way, if none of this makes sense to you, if you feel like your neck is perfectly fine, then just do some twists and tilts in both directions. We'll do this at the end of class too, but just go to a balanced position. Think about chin balanced parallel to the floor and stretching it in ways that will balance out the imbalances in your everyday life. Very good. And then when you finish, come back to center, check the position of your chin to the floor. You might even feel the back of your neck, or someday look at yourself in the mirror. See if your head is really on top of your body. You don't want it in front. You don't want it too pushed back with the double chin. You don't want it tilted or twisted. We all have little habits. So just for now, just do a little wobble head, move your head around and relax it and make sure that it's straight on up. Very, very good. Okay. Let's bring ourselves back to the floor. If it's chilly where you are and you want to put on any layers of any kind, take a moment to do that. Or to have a blanket. It was a chilly morning here. Now the sun's coming up, but I think I will put on my sweater. So come on down to the floor. And from there, bring the knees to the chest again, like we did at the beginning of class. And just roll around on that low back again, making sure it's feeling pretty good. Nice and stretchy, nice and massaged. Yeah. Circles too are good. And then from here, just let the feet come down. Knees are still bent. We'll take a thread the needle position. So right ankle is going to go to left thigh. Let that right knee and hip open out a little bit and lift the left thigh. Now, traditionally, thread the needle is done by taking your hands, wrapping them around that left leg and pulling them in. However, if that does anything to strain your neck or head or shoulders, if it means that you have to reach hard to do that, please do not do it. Leave the head, neck, shoulders, shoulder blades all on the ground, nice and relaxed. You can do thread the needle without the arms at all. Sway a little left and right. And if you feel like you need, excuse me, a little oomph, you could always take that left hand to the left knee and pull it in a little. Sorry, need a little water. Good. Let's release, go to the other side. Left ankle to right thigh. Pull it in. Sway a little left and right. Excuse me, I'm going to have to excuse myself for a moment. Sometimes just too much talking. Okay, good. Release from there. And we'll take the knees into the chest again. Hands behind the backs of the knees or the thighs. This is happy baby pose. Flex the feet, open the knees for a nice hip opener. Breathe and open up those hips. And from here, we'll bring the feet together, knees apart, lower down to the floor for butterfly pose. So the arms are again out at the T with the palms up. If this isn't completely comfortable for your hips, you can experiment with having your feet a little wider, sorry, your feet a little farther away from your groin or closer in. Find a way to really relax those inner thighs and hips. Let them go. Upper body, chest is open, shoulder blades sinking into the ground. Palms are open to the ceiling, but fingers are cupped in that very naturally relaxed position. Open through the chest and the heart center, out the shoulders and the arms to the fingers like two big outstretched wings. And feeling more and more open in butterfly pose today, more and more open to transformation and change through our yoga practice and in our everyday lives. More and more open to whatever the universe has to offer us each and every day. And slowly we can let the legs stretch down to the bottom of your mat. If you prefer having the knees bent or a bolster under your knees, that's fine. The arms can go to your sides, palms are up. And we'll take our final relaxation here. So just follow along. We do 3 breaths together. On the exhales, exhale through your mouth, make some noise. Have some fun. Laughter is encouraged. So here's our first breath. Big inhale through the nose. Hold that breath. Expand the lungs and the rib cage. Squeeze your hands into your feet, your arms and legs, the face, eyes, mouth, shoulders, tight, tight, tight. Hold, hold, hold. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And then through your mouth, let it go. Ah, good. Let everything relax. Next breath, even bigger than the first. Big inhale. Top off those lungs, expand them, expand the rib cage too. Squeeze the thighs, the arms and legs, your butt muscles, hands and feet, eyes, mouth, tight, tight, tight. Hold, hold, hold. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And let it go. Good job. Take a little breath in between. Get ready for breath number 3. We're going to roar like lions. So really make some noise. Laughter is encouraged. Big inhale. Expand the lungs. Expand all the ribs. Start to squeeze everything, your butt muscles, your thighs, the arms and legs, the hands and feet, your eyes, mouth, shoulders, everything tight, tight, tight. Hold, hold, hold. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And roar like lions. Very, very good. And take a nice big yawn. Really open the mouth and jaw wide. Big breath. Let it go. Even if you have to fake the yawn, it's usually will turn into a real one. And then a sigh breath. Really just let it all go. Ah, that's it. Bring your breathing back to normal here. Let your eyes and eyelids relax, temples and forehead, mouth and jaw. Let the tongue inside your mouth relax, and all the muscles in your neck and throat. And letting that relaxation come down into your chest, down into the ribs and lungs, all the inner organs working beautifully together, down into the hips, relaxing the legs down to the thighs and the knees, the calves, the ankles, the feet, and the toes. Bringing your awareness to the back side of your body, let the head sink a little deeper into the ground. Feel the back of the neck relaxing, the jaw once again letting go. Through the back of the spine, all the muscles of your back, shoulder blades, tailbone, down the backs of the hips and the legs, all the way to your calves and your heels. And then turning your awareness to the arms and shoulders. Let the collarbones relax and soften. Let the shoulders sink a little deeper and feel that deep, deep relaxation coming all the way down from your jaw to your neck, the shoulders and shoulder blades, down the arms, through the elbows, the wrists, the hands, and the fingertips. And enjoy these moments of total and complete relaxation. And slowly bringing your awareness back to your body and into the room. Move the fingers and the toes gently. Take a nice slow breath. Inhale through the nose. Slower exhale through the nose. And then we'll roll on over to our side. Either side is fine. Elbows and knees bent. We're in fetal pose here, like you just had a really nice nap. Feeling restored and relaxed. Being aware of the quality of energy inside of you and the calmness that you feel. And knowing that you can bring this calm with you throughout your day today and every day. And slowly lift yourself on up to a seated position. Get yourself into any comfortable seated pose you need. Take a nice big inhale there, lengthening through your spine. And an exhale, letting your chin come to chest, dropping it down and stretching the back of the neck. And inhaling, rolling that head back on up to center. And remembering chin parallel to the floor, head on straight. We're going to twist the head and neck to the right and inhale it back to center. And again, twisting to the left and back to center. And then letting the right ear fall towards the right shoulder. We're going to glide the chin to the chest at the diagonal and bring it back to ear to shoulder a few times. Again, if you have one side of your neck that seems to need this more to balance out the unbalanced, feel free to only do this one-sided. Otherwise, both sides is great. And then when you finish with one side, keep the ear to shoulder before lifting the head back on up. And then we go the other way, ear to shoulder and gliding chin to chest at that diagonal. When you're doing these sideways neck stretches, remember, keep the rest of your torso straight up and down. Don't let yourself bend the whole body. We're trying to isolate that very special, important neck. And bring it back ear to shoulder, and then all the way back upright once again. Returning that head and neck and breath to normal. Feeling strong and calm today. Remembering we can bring these feelings of strength and peace with us throughout our daily lives. So take a moment to thank yourself for giving yourself this gift of yoga today. And I thank all of you for coming together to join in this journey that is yoga. May the light of my heart shine upon and honor the light of your heart. Namaste. Thanks for coming, everyone. Thanks for the New York Flute Club members who joined today. We can come back to the group, and I'm going to stop the recording now. And if anybody has any questions,